Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another top tier interview. Brittany Hughes here. And as you can see, our environment has changed a little bit. We are currently in the middle of a top tier experience. And I have a very, very special guest here with us today. Before we get into the actual interview, I want to remind you, if you are not subscribed to the Top Tier YouTube channel, I literally don't know what you're doing or what you're waiting for. Every single Friday, a new interview is released. And I know from, again, the comments that have been on our past YouTube videos, the amount of value that is being dropped within these interviews is invaluable, ultimately. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Top Tier YouTube channel so you can be notified every single Friday when we release a new interview. But without further ado, I am very excited to have my guest here today. Here in this beautiful, not studio, this beautiful outdoor area, I have Shaun Bankz here with us. Shaun Bankz, welcome to Top Tier Interviews.
Thank you.
Yeah, how are you?
I am doing amazing, and I cannot thank you enough for bringing me out to the Top Tier experience. This is just such an amazing experience so far.
Yeah, no, this is honestly probably my favorite environment that we've conducted an interview.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful. I mean, it is a little bit warm, obviously, being here in Miami, but no, can't get any better than
Can't complain.
that.
I mean, look at the views. The weather's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice to have you here. I always like to start these interviews off by giving you your flowers. Now, to be interviewed and be a part of the Top Tier interview, but also to be part of the Top Tier experience, you've had to see a level of success in your trading journey. And so, as I know, as many people who are tuning into this know, that that's no easy feat. And trading is no easy feat. So to be in this position now, you've had to see a level of success. So I always just love to give my guests their flowers and congratulate them on making it to this point in their career. And I'd like to help you celebrate something, have it be trading related, personal related. Is there anything that we can help you celebrate?
I mean, I think you guys done more than enough already as it is, with, the communication, the support, the advice, the tips, the strategies. It's just everything is just top tier.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. I know we've been here. Well, I've been in this house for a few hours. You flew in yesterday.
Correct.
Is that, yeah?
Yeah. Flew in from California, super easy flight. And then landed, got picked up. You guys picked me up in a Cadillac Escalade.
Nice.
And then I went to the studio, I went to the office, met everybody, and came back to the mansion and just had an amazing sushi party. It's just been amazing.
Oh, I'm sad I missed that.
Oh,
It's good.
More for me.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And again, I know we've been having conversation throughout this morning, and I was like, wait, I want to save some of this for the interview. But ultimately, I'd love to back it up, like from the very beginning. I know that you're an affiliate with Top Tier. And so there are some people who are going to be watching this who's like, I know who Shaun Bankz is. Shaun Bankz taught me what I know. And there's other people who are going to be tuning in, and like this is the first I've ever heard of Shaun Bankz.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to educate the individuals who are tuning into this podcast just a little bit more about you, your story, your journey. How long have you been trading for?
So I've been trading for about 5 years now, actually trading.
Okay.
Before trading, I was in the Marine Corps, so I was prior military. And I think that's what gave me an edge with discipline and patience.
Yeah.
After the Marine Corps, I did Uber, and I didn't know what to do exactly. And I stumbled upon a writer who actually did Forex. And he's the one that got me started. And from there, I just teamed up with some really good traders and just kept moving on my journey.
Why the Marine Corps? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, the Marine Corps. In high school, I heard it was the hardest, the most challenging, and then it was like the first in. So I kind of wanted to be the best at anything I do.
Okay.
So they said Marine Corps was the hardest and the best, so I did it.
And then from there, you made a shift from being in the Marine Corps to driving Uber.
Exactly right. Yeah. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had a couple different benefits, a couple different career paths I wanted to go to.
Okay.
But I didn't really know exactly what I wanted. I knew I didn't want to work the 9 to 5. So I had to find a skill or something to get me out of the rat race.
Yeah.
And I just kept asking everybody that was successful, like, hey, what do you do? What do you do? And that's why I actually chose Uber, because I can
meet people. To connect, yeah.
Exactly. Just meeting a whole bunch of people from a whole different lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And it brought me to Forex. And
you had a rider. You picked up someone one day.
Yeah, I picked up a 19-year-old kid and dropped him off at BMW. And I was just picking his brain the whole way there. And, you know, I saw how much he made. He had a live account, over 6 figures. And I asked him to teach me. He did charge me a fee, a tuition.
Okay.
I paid, and after about 6 months is when I really like took off.
Okay. And how old were you at that point?
About 32, 33 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, when I finally made the switch into trading.
Okay, so that was about 6, 7.
5, yeah, 5, 6.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. I mean, when it comes to social media, I feel like the journey of a trader, you don't see a lot of the journey of a trader.
True.
Because the majority, not all, I do want to give credit to some people who are posting, you know, when they're in the lows, in the thick of it. But social media gives us this false sense of, I started to learn how to trade. I met a guy in an Uber. He taught me his course. Now I'm making multiple 6 figures, right? And obviously that's just not the case. So when it came to from the time that you discovered trading and you took the course, how long did it
solid
see that
year and a half, you know, of really getting down and practicing in a bunch of reps.
Yeah.
I would say over a year of really studying. And that's actually what it takes. It takes a lot of reps, studying. And, you know, when I started, social media wasn't as big, so I didn't document my journey. But there was a lot of low points. And the low points are just not quitting. You know, the low points are, you know, maybe you want to make a little bit of money.
Sure.
You want to make more. Maybe, you know, and I always say competition is not good to compare yourself with other people. You know, if you make $50, you make 50, that's great. If you make 2,000, that's amazing. If you make 20,000, that's perfect. So everybody's on their own journey.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you, when you discovered trading, when you had that conversation with that guy, he taught you, were you like, this is it? Like, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah. I kind of went all in. Again, I was just doing Uber, so I didn't want to give up my Uber.
Sure.
But yeah, that's kind of what I went with, the mindset of I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to do it. If he can do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
At that time, you know, I was single, no kids, and, you know, nothing really else to do except for Uber.
Sure.
So I went all in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you learned then. Is that still how you trade to this day?
Oh, great question. Great question. Right. So yeah, what I learned was just enough for the basics and the fundamentals.
Okay.
And once I learned that, I took what I learned from him, which it was an amazing. And then I just kind of kept learning more and more through other traders through my journey. And at the end of it, I came together and pieced everything together and make my own style. But yeah, it's a lot of the basics, fundamentals, technicals, and then I kind of add my own little twist to there now. Yeah.
When you were first getting started, and I'm interested to hear how and if it has changed, but when you were first getting started, like the psychology piece of fear, greed, FOMO, all of these things I think are maybe more prevalent just because they're being discovered for the first time or they're being unraveled for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't think that maybe they ever go away. You just adopt different ways of combating those things because at the end of the day, it's just human nature.
Correct.
But in the beginning of your journey, what was kind of like your flaw when it came to trading?
Pulling out too early was definitely one of my flaws, and closing out too early, not letting my trades run.
Yeah.
Because I saw profit and I was happy. And then once I built the confidence, I think the confidence and the patience really made the switch into, you know, making $1,000 a day to now making over 10K a day is just the patience and confidence.
I asked that question because, again, I'm a sucker for reading comments on the YouTube channel. So I read all of the comments that people are leaving on the different videos. And when it comes down to, is that what you just attribute it to, have it be time and confidence, or were there actual things that you put in place to kind of help you get to that point?
Perfect. Yeah. So I set rules, right?
Okay.
Rules. So not only the confidence, because you could be really confident and still have a bad trading strategy. So what I ended up doing was creating an amazing trading journal. And I actually back tested every single pair for 6 months. And I saw which pair was my best. Okay. And then once I had the data on which pair was the best, then I only stuck to that pair.
Got it. And what pair was that?
EuroCAD.
Okay.
Yeah, EuroCAD, 08 in the morning is kind of the time it breaks.
Okay.
So yeah, I just really dedicate and find out exactly which pair is better for me. Then I find out which session moves, because every session has a different amount of pips.
Yeah.
So you start to learn not only what pair you're good at, but how many pips it moves in the session. So I found out that certain pairs move a certain amount of sessions. I didn't want to go way too many pips and try to catch 100 when it only moves 20.
Yeah.
So
setting yourself up for success in that region when it comes down to just education.
Correct.
Right? Education and being in not only the education, but I feel like before deciding to educate yourself on that specific thing, there has to be like an innate interest. Like I want to know.
Correct.
The method behind
the reason of why.
Exactly. And today, walk me through what it is. Well, one, walk me through what pairs you're trading now most commonly.
Okay.
Session.
Yeah. All right. So now mainly me, I'm trading live news.
Okay.
So I'm a high volatility news specialist. I trade all color folders. And what session? It's again news, so it's high volatility, so it doesn't matter what time.
Sure.
It can be 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I'm trading now. And then with my team, I'm trading market structure.
Okay.
And we're doing London session, so right around midnight Pacific Standard Time. We're all hopping on live and just seeing what we see.
You have a number of years under your belt. Were you always trading high volatile news?
No. High volatility news just came out about 6 months ago once we collected all the data.
Okay.
And it was a way for us to not trade as much and still make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So once we figured out the data, so for our news, we actually go back in time for 4 months for that news event.
Okay. So give me like an example. Like today we had
an
NFP.
So NFP today, so yesterday we knew the interest rates were staying at 5.5%, which was May 1st. So I knew today on NFP, gold would shoot up and the dollar will go down.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my team, we had that research done already for 3-4 months in the past.
Got it.
And today we took a buy stop and we all profited.
Yeah. Some people even in the house
some people
took the trade.
Yeah, some people were looking, and I saw some other people trading NFP as well. So it's one of those things where if you have enough years behind you, you kind of understand it's rinse and repeat.
Yep.
And once you do it enough times, I have no fear. It's just no fear on these certain events because I've done so much data behind them.
I think that's the key. The key behind it is that's what builds your confidence is the data behind it.
Correct.
Is putting in the reps day in and day out to build that confidence to ultimately for you to be able to sit at a chart and no matter what the outcome is, you're able to execute with confidence.
Yeah.
I think that's key, and that takes again. I always come back to time and repetition because at the end of the day, like those are like that's like the foundation of ultimately being successful and building that confidence.
Correct.
As well.
And another thing I wanted to mention is the risk reward. Risk reward is just so critical. What
do you aim for?
So all of my trades are 0.5% risk.
Okay.
And a 1% gain.
Okay.
So for example, on a 300K account, every trade I take, I'm losing 1,500.
Sure.
Or I'm winning $3,000. Every single trade. Every single trade has a different pip value amount. So you want to make sure you're understanding that if it's moving 50 pips on AUD USD, may be totally different than 50 pips on Euro CAD.
Mm-hmm.
But you want them to lose 1,500 each.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the week, my market structure students, they take about 10 trades a week.
Okay.
And they lose about 5, which is negative 2.5%. But the other 5 they win is plus 5, which is a net of 2.5% gain.
Yeah.
And once my students realized that even when you lose 50%, you can still be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
That was the mindset switch where like, oh, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to win every single one and I'm still profitable at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And that's the way I teach them. So I make sure they do their pairs, their sessions, their back testing. Then I make them forward test with no money for a month to make sure that their stats are their stats.
Okay.
But as you know, when you go live, the psychology hits you.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, paper trading is important.
Correct.
Of course. But then it's like you haven't even stepped on the plate at that point. You're just like you're still on the batting cage, right? You're just getting acclimated to being in the environment itself. And then once you make that switch from demo to live, and it's like, okay, I'm coming up on the plate, and that's when majority of the lessons come into play.
Yeah.
You mentioned that that's how you teach your students now, and once they were able to see that they can have a 50% win rate, that they can still be a profitable trader. How long did that take you to realize?
Took me about a year and a half after I started trading because I wasn't trading a 1 to 2 risk reward. I was kind of like just catching pips per se. And I didn't know how many. I was like, well, I catch 100 pips. I catch 200 pips.
Yeah.
So I was still developing the system.
Okay.
And then after about a year and a half, I was like, well, if I just do a 1 to 2 and I just do percentage trading, I'm going to win 90% or 80%, which is going to leave me a nice profit at the end of the month.
Yeah. That's key. I know that you now have a community of traders that you teach. We were talking again a little bit before this offline. You teach one-on-one as well. How far into your trading career did you say, I want to start teaching people now?
Yeah, so right before COVID, I teamed up with a group of traders that we all taught, just taught students. And it was a great experience.
Okay.
And they're all live traders. They all make great money. And then COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, they all just kind of went on vacation. They kind of just did their traveling. They still traded. And I still like teaching. So I said, you know what? Why do I have to stop teaching? So during COVID, I opened up a virtual Zoom. And I got flooded with over 100 students the first year. And I just taught every single one of them one-on-one, which made my system better, faster.
Yeah. Whenever I always say that you're able to, you've nailed the skill set, you've nailed down the processes when you're able to actually teach it.
Yes.
Teach it to someone else.
Correct.
And that really helps you the not only again the process and the steps, but everything. It helps it cement it more to your mind by teaching it
100%.
outside of you.
100%.
I want to back it up a little bit because we skipped over it, but I do want to ask again, making that switch from demo to live and the psychological aspects that come along with that. What do you see most common in your students that they have trouble with?
Of course.
And then what solutions do you provide?
I love it. So what I do is I always like to set up their goals on day one.
Okay.
The reason why goals are so important is because in 6 months from now, when they hit their goals, but they want to do more, maybe the fear of missing out, maybe revenge trading. Those are two of the common problems I have with most students.
Fear of missing out and revenge trading.
Correct. So like fear of missing out, maybe I took a trade and I made, $2,500. They missed that trade and they're like, well, I'm going to try to get in something now. So they try to like get in late.
Yep.
Or another one is revenge trading where they lost and they want to try to get back in to win. So those are the two biggest.
Okay.
The way I combat that is, again, through one-on-one mentorship. They have direct access to me. So when they do lose, call me. And then I can ask them like, hey, what did you make today? And they're like, oh, I made $1,500. And I'm like, okay, what do you make for the month? I'm like, 10 grand. And I'm like, but remember, your goal was 6 grand a month. Why are you your goal was 6 grand.
Yeah.
And when they have that perspective of the 6 grand, they realize that it's better.
Yeah. No, that's awesome that you provide that, because at the end of the day, for the most part, and even with one-on-one trainings, trading is a solo sport.
It is.
Right? And so, and unfortunately, I feel like it's human nature to learn lessons just based off of your own mistakes.
100%, yeah.
Right? So like in theory, we can even talk about like on this podcast, like what to do, what not to do. But at the end of the day, it's not going to resonate with you as strongly as if you were to then go out, make that mistake, and then being able to learn from it. But I do think that being able to provide that third-party perspective or a second-party perspective as you would in your one-on-one is really, really powerful, to have someone to kind of maybe not hold you accountable, but to remind you of the goals that you set out and how, the decisions that you're making on revenge trading or, being fearful or the fear of missing out, that's taking you this way when our goals are
we have
this
a plan. Way. You're winning with our structure. You're winning with the plan. Why are you doing things that deviate from time?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah. In the last 3 months, I brought on a professional mindset coach.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
So I brought a professional mindset coach on every Thursday. He hops on, does Zooms.
Okay.
For our team.
Yeah.
And he has one-on-ones with our full-time traders.
Okay.
Not every student, but just the traders. And to keep their mindset sharp, because again, without the mindset, you can lose everything quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah. What has been your most successful trade? It can be either what has been your most successful
So my most successful trade or my most profitable trade are two different.
Okay, let's dive into both of them and kind of how you would differentiate the two?
Of course. So my most successful trade, I feel, is with EuroCAD. And the reason why is because I'm so consistent. So I think that's my most successful.
Okay.
Is because I'm just so consistently profitable with that pair.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I'm the most profitable on that pair.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky a lot on Bitcoin, and I
Okay.
made over 6 figures multiple times. So my most profitable trades are through Bitcoin.
Okay.
But my most successful trades are more of EuroCAD. That's it usually.
You're saying you're identifying or defining successful as being most like consistently
Correct. Yeah.
profitable.
Yeah, I don't judge profits as success.
As yeah.
I really don't. Somebody could put a wrong lot size in and make way more,
Sure.
and they think they're successful.
Yeah.
Where me, I'm just really consistent,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where my success comes from is compounding.
Yeah, and even you brought up the word luck, and we were talking about this again offline, where luck is one thing, and I think when it comes to trading, like being able to differentiate being lucky and then being actually skillful. Are you getting lucky, or are you actually applying the skill set? But when it comes to like having that break in Bitcoin, it's like, yes, there's an element of luck to it. But all I see luck as being is preparation met with opportunity.
And that's exactly like Bitcoin trade. Yeah, I made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's because of a lot of preparation, a lot of studying, a lot of getting ready for that.
Sure. And then the opportunity
And then
came.
the opportunity came.
Seized it.
Yep.
And that's what we call
Luck.
That's what we call luck.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
I did a lot of work.
Yeah, it takes the preparation behind it. Do you see yourself teaching long term, your students long term?
Every year I always say I want to stop. Every year I say the same thing, and but then every year I feel that if I don't teach, the students aren't going to learn. Because I through my mentorship, I make sure that they do learn.
Yeah.
So I always feel like
You're really hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really feel like it's a disservice if I stop teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I just keep raising my prices. I just keep teaching.
Yeah.
My value is just worth so much more now.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know if I'll teach forever. I love it though. I absolutely love teaching. I love seeing the students understand something. I love seeing the students win. That's actually what brings me the joy.
That's awesome.
And that's why I want to stop teaching, but I've been saying that since 2022 now. So
Okay.
years of just teaching still.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy it. I host events for them. We do trips. I like my traders. I like my students.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you see yourself being in the position that you're in whenever you had that conversation with the guy in the Uber and he was telling you about trading and you took his course?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not. All I saw myself was being able to stop Ubering, being able to do something that gives me time freedom, financial freedom and time freedom.
Yeah.
And once I thought about it, my only goal was to make money. And then
And what did that like make money to cover bills, to you could quit Uber? Like what was that make money goal for you?
My main goal make money was just honestly just to like live at home and just trade and just not have to worry about bills.
Okay.
But then once you get to a point where you do decent,
Yeah.
you're like, well, what else are you going to do with your time?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when people were reaching out to me through social media. Social media became a little bit bigger then, and people just reach out to me organically.
Okay.
And but yeah, making money was definitely my only thought while signing up to the course. That was my only thought.
Yeah.
And then after learning the skill, I'm like, well, this could be something that's bigger than just making money.
Mm-hmm.
This could be something where I can teach people. I can help people learn. And the biggest thing is networking. By trading, made me more money, was able to get me into more doors that I would not be able to get into.
Yeah, I was just gonna say now trading is helping you fund those other endeavors that now you're involved in. We were talking real estate before this, and which is awesome. And I think a lot of people that come into this, they're kind of one track mind, which I think at the start is important.
Yeah.
Right. To have your blinders on. This is what I'm going to do. I'm a fan of, yes, have goals, but what's equally as important where you want to go is what you're doing now to get to that point.
Yeah.
So I think
having the intention behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And so when it comes to trading, I think in the beginning of your journey, having that narrow focus. And then when you have when you have the time under your belt, the skill set under your belt, you can kind of come up for air and make, okay, now what else am I wanting to dive into?
I completely agree 100%. In the beginning, blinders are the best way to go.
Yeah.
And just being driven, and it was actually my passion. I actually enjoyed looking at charts. I actually enjoyed finding setups.
You have to a certain extent. Like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think that's a non-negotiable. You have to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And it might not be at the beginning, it might not be what that, like, your passion.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way it evolves.
Yeah. The trader, it's one of those things where they're like, oh, we're just looking at charts. But I'm like, yeah, but it's so much fun because there's so many opportunities. There's so many different setups. And then just being right, putting something on the chart and seeing if it plays out is a good feeling.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, it's so great to understand that this is a game where you have to understand you're not going to win them all.
Mm-hmm.
And once you understand that you're not going to win them all and you can still be profitable, why wouldn't you take the chance? Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, I find that, to your point, you're just looking at people, again, the outside perspective, you're just looking at a chart, but it's so much more than that. Like, no, I'm looking at myself through this chart, ultimately. And that's where I found, when I was first getting started, that's where I found my passion. I was like, no, I'm learning so much about myself through this. Not only become a better trader, obviously, but in so much different aspects of life, trading helps you develop characteristics and habits that you want to carry. Yeah,
even personality, being less emotional.
Yep.
Being, because, again, trading is very emotional.
Yeah.
Even when you win a trade, it's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It could be good and bad because maybe it took too long. Maybe it came down, almost came to your take profit, reversed.
Yeah.
And now you're like, well, why did I pull out?
Yeah.
So it is a very emotional game. But once I tell my students, set it and forget it. That's it. You set your best setup. You did everything you can. Put your stop loss where it's supposed to be, 1 to 2. Let it go. Because my goal is for them not to stare at the charts like I did for 20 hours a day or 8 hours a day or whatever it is.
Sure.
My goal is for them to learn the skill and just move on.
Someone is going to be watching this podcast and they're going to be at the beginning of their journey. Maybe this podcast is their first introduction to you. It's their first introduction to top tier, to trading in general. Maybe this is their first exposure, which is kind of exciting to think about, because you know how optimal that first exposure was for you. Knowing what you know now and the experience that you've had and the success that you've seen, what are like 3 pieces of like tangible advice that you could give someone that's looking to get started?
Well, the first thing I always say is mentor. Find someone you can look up to and bring value to that person. Doesn't have to be money necessarily. Find out what value you could bring.
Yeah.
And try to like latch on to them and try to learn from them. So that's something tangible you could take away. The second thing is mindset. Wake up in the morning, meditate, eat right. Because I'm telling you now, if you're out drinking at night, if you're out partying, trading may not be for you because you have to be focused.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start taking care of your body, your mind, that's already something that's going to be huge. So I would say first, find a mentor. Second, work on yourself, your mindset, and your body.
Mm-hmm.
And the third, practice. Practice, because without that, you're not going to win.
Thank you, Shaun.
Of course.
No, this has been, I'm so selfish with these interviews because like I'm asking questions that I want to know the answers to. And I know that other people are gaining the same amount of value that I'm gaining here. So I thank you so much.
No, I thank you. Top tier.
Yeah, we have a weekend planned for the rest of the individuals who are here on the Top Tier Experience, going to the F1 race tomorrow, which is so exciting. Yes. And again, I just want to thank you for this conversation and congratulate you again on the success that you've seen throughout the years. And I'm just, again, want to say thank you so much. Where can people find you online?
So or your Instagram, Shaun Bankz, ShaunBankz, one word.
Okay.
Or iTeachFX is my trading hub.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to another Top Tier interview. Make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because every single Friday we are releasing these interviews. Make sure to comment down below any pieces of value that you've extracted as well. And that's it. We'll see you guys next time.